I'm so happy to be here. My name's Katherine. I am a compulsive eater. I live in Los Angeles, and I celebrated 3 years last Tuesday, March the 12th. So my abstinent state is, I know, right? March the 12th, 2021. I am such an unlikely candidate for this program. Well, first, let me say why I am. I succeed. I'm completely successful. I weigh and measure 3 meals a day from the clarified gray sheet. I commit these meals to a sponsor. I don't eat anything between meals, and it has become one of the most incredibly sacred devotional practices for me, weighing and measuring food. I can't believe the freedom I've achieved in 3 years. I've got goose pimples. I'm 39 years sober in AA, and this is very different. And I really love AA. I work it. I sponsor people. I do the steps. I want to say something about steps. They're channeled. They're brilliant. They work. It's like if you don't do the steps, you got to do the steps. And that's a table on which everything else can be laid. And there's, obviously other protocols, because I don't know about you, but this food thing has made me a very sick puppy. And I really need a lot of help. And I get it. And I'm doing it. And I'm finally opening up after a lot of trauma that brought me to my knees and into this program 3 years ago, like horrible trauma. My shrink says that, never mind, it doesn't matter. But I have to say, I'm a misanthrope. I just can't stand people. I can't stand tendencies and things and size and talking, but I absolutely love people. And I can't tell you that I know the difference now because I understand principles versus personalities. But I look at this screen here and I love you. I see God in you. It's such an incredible awareness. It's an awareness that has been achieved and really polished since I've been in Gray Sheet, even though I'm terribly judgy. And I think everybody, it doesn't matter. I do work the steps. I do work 10, 11, and 12 on a daily basis. The 11th step, the meditation, is one of the best kept secrets in Gray Sheet, in the programs. I don't know why people don't do it, but some people don't. I've been meditating for years and years and years. I teach people to meditate. And so simple. You sit and you follow your breath. Listening to something is listening to something, contemplating. But the experience of just being still and breathing in a deep way and sitting up straight is so powerful. But at first it tears you apart, because I know when I go back to it, I was away from it for a long time, and I came back and monkey mind happens. You're jumpy and the nervous system takes so long to calm down. But after about 21 to 30 days, it calms down. And we say, don't quit before the miracle. Don't quit before the miracle, because God is everything to me. You can call it whatever you want. You can call it dog or Butch or Sam or whatever, but I absolutely know it's there. I know it's there. It's an experience I have all the time, even when I'm unhappy, even when I'm bitching and moany and whiny. I know it's there. And that's what I call it, because I know it's a political word, but whatever. It's a power greater than myself. And I like to say it this way. I don't believe in God, because I would not limit the experience I have on a daily basis to a concept or a thought or a belief. It's simply there. And what hurt so much 3 years ago, right before I came into Gray Sheet, I just wanted to die. Now I'm a therapist and I act like a hot shot, and everybody thinks I'm great and they pay me money and I talk really smart. But I wanted to kill myself. I haven't ever wanted to commit suicide like that. I mean, ever. I was on my knees with pain from this disease. I was on my knees. I couldn't go through another day. And I'm very dramatic. And I remember one time I was on my knees in my office just saying, God, help me. God, help me. And that gift of desperation brought me, I don't know how, but it took me to the telephone, and I picked up the phone. Well, it's like right here. I picked up the phone and called Gray Sheet. And I talked to this wonderful woman who told me, she helped me get my first abstinent meal that day, and I became abstinent. It's a miracle, okay? It's a miracle. I was in OA How years ago when I lived in New York and Massachusetts. It's a wonderful program. It worked for me. It was incredible. I did weigh and measure. I did commit. I didn't eat any refined foods, refined sugar. It's very different. And I just, over time, I moved out west and everything came back. And then after this horrible thing that happened to me in 2006, when my husband left, this man I adored him with all my heart. He left us and I went bankrupt. And I mean, I literally lost everything. People say I lost everything, but I lost all my money in the bank, and I lost my clothes, and I lost my house, and I lost, I sold my antiques, I sold everything, and I was able to finance another move. but it took me down. It took me apart. And I was in court for 2 years with this monster. And I look back, I mean, I'm really working on it twice a week, and it's horrible. It's horrible to do because I still have amnesia over some of the stuff that happened. And it ruined three children's lives. It just did. And I'm part of that. One of the things I really work on in the 10th step is continue to take personal inventory. And when I'm wrong, promptly admitted it. Because if there's any conflict or if there's any friction, I immediately have to own my part. And very often I'll call somebody and say, I'm sorry for my part in this. I don't even know what it is yet, but I know if it feels off, it has to be me, even though somebody's done something egregious and heinous, and I have a lot of people do stuff, but I also know that I can't afford a resentment because it will lead me back to food. It just will. It just does. So this is something that has given me freedom beyond anything I've ever known. And it just seems to get better and better and better. And I have a lot of pain, but I don't have suffering anymore. I have, I'm looking at things that hurt, but I don't suffer anymore because I'm clean and clear. And it's amazing. It's simply amazing. I can't believe what happened to me. I didn't have huge weight loss, but I had thickness in my brain. I had such pain when I came in, and I knew I couldn't go another day. I just, see, that's what I mean by God. I mean, come on. I was so negative. I still kind of am sometimes. I kind of like it. I'm doing comedy routines or something, but I don't really mean it. But I think that there has to be something when you utter the prayer of desperation, God help me, and it always works. I've never heard in 39 years in AA and 3 years here, I've never heard somebody say they uttered that prayer and it didn't change something. So come on, okay? I know that I've gone through phases in my abstinence where I lost a whole ton of weight at first and I had to increase my food, and then I had to decrease my food. And the weight thing is driving me crazy. I'm so obsessed sometimes with how much I weigh. It's varied like 4 or 5 pounds, but I think about it way too much. And I know that's my disease. I know that's easy to obsess upon. And I do, and I can't believe it. I'm so mad. And I watch how other things, I've never like compulsively exercised. I've never done that, but I'm thinking about it. So hang on a second, thank you. She's gone. So anyway, that's my greyhound licorice noodle. But anyway, I think that I'll tell you that a couple of people helped me the first 2 months because my detox was so horrendous. It wasn't necessarily from the sugar in the food, although that was there, but it was the emotional detox. I was insane. I wept and wept. I couldn't, you remember me from my first meeting, you guys, I couldn't stop crying. I just couldn't stop crying. And I thought you were all awful. And I couldn't stop crying. I couldn't stop crying. I cried. I've never known a human being could have so many tears, so much hormone sweat. And it was purging and purging. And it went on for, the person that helped me, it was Tony and Steve helped me understand what was going on because I didn't hear about it enough. So if you're new and you have any emotional movements in early abstinence, stick with it. I did a lot of bedroom slipper days. I just kept doing them. I couldn't help it. I couldn't get out of bed. I still sometimes can't, but at least I know what it is. I'm tired. But I think that these kinds of things that we can do, bedroom slippers, be kind to yourself. The first time one of my spiritual teachers told me to be kind to myself, my knees buckled. And that was in the 70s. I couldn't consider being kind to myself. And of course, I wasn't kind to you. I thought I was, but I wasn't. Somebody told me in the 12th, and she was in OA and AA. She told me a long time ago, maybe 20 years ago, to live my life by 4 principles. And I really tried to, and here they are. Always be on time, always keep my commitments, always act better than I feel. And the 4th one is hard, be kind to everyone, especially those people you don't think deserve your kindness. But I have changed so much in trying to really maintain a sense of spiritual integrity like that. Because spirituality isn't how many ohms and shantis you can say, because I have lots of those people around me, but it's about your willingness to treat the self, the small self, with kindness and courtesy, and then extend it to others. And the only way to do that is through weighing and measuring food. Believe me, if it was something else, I would have tried it. How long do I have? How long do I have, Joel? Do I have 1, 2, what? Hold up. Okay, good. Oh God, I can go on. one of the things that I think that people have to surrender to is the early abstinence and how hard it is. But I think what I did do wrong or whatever was not get right into the steps again, not get right into it. I didn't indulge, but my brain was so messed up. I ate one food over and over and over again. If I didn't have it, I panicked. I ordered it from Europe, and it was obviously a sugary food. And I had it in my car. I had it in my bedroom. I had it in my office. I walked through the house, and the first thing that would happen to me in my office, in my house and my office, if I had a feeling or a thought, I stuffed something in my mouth. It was over and over and over again. And then when it was time to eat, I'd go with my arm and move everything off the kitchen counter and stuff something in. This was my compulsive eating. And, maybe it's not as horrible as some, but to me, it was destroying me. It was destroying my life. But being abstinent has given me the courage to look back at what happened to me and face it. And I'm telling you, I sit sometimes with my therapist and I just flood and I completely lose myself. I can't even, I'm unable to talk. It's so painful. But I can do it now. I don't want to leave a trail of tears in this lifetime. I don't want to leave a legacy of unfinished business and repression and avoidance. I'm showing up. I'm showing up. And what has given me the gift of being able to show up is weighing and measuring food. Who would have known? Who would have thought? But it does. And it's so beautiful. I'm starting to travel. I have to go in the hospital Thursday. I'm a little nervous about it, but I've got my food planned. I've got somebody helping me. I've got an Al-Anon angel and a GSA angel planning for the next 5 days because I'm going to be laid up. That is possible. And it's so much easier than not to do it, to plan it, to make sure it works, and to call your sponsor and to call somebody and tell you how they're doing. I'm blabbing a little bit. I love this program. And I believe it or not, I love you. I do. Can't help it. Oh, well. And I really am grateful. So I can't even describe the gratitude I feel to be part of this and to have, I mean, it's everywhere. It's so wonderful. We have a limited membership in GSA, but we share a common bond. We share our common experience. We walk through an emotional bath of pain. And here we are smiling and showing up because we're not a glum lot. Okay, that's the end.